Hello everyone and welcome back to Formula 2 for the anti-penultimate round of the championship. Round number 12, the third to last round at Zandvoort. I don't know if we've ever been in such a strong position towards the end of an F2 season. They've normally been pretty tight for the title, but yeah, we actually have a pretty chunky margin, and I believe it's theoretically possible for us to take the championship this round, though relatively unlikely. So that'll be something we maybe pay more attention to next time. Our main focus this round will be to maintain the 25-point lead that we now have in the team's championship, which is realistically where a lot of the focus has been lately anyway. And yeah, we've been working well with our teammate over the recent rounds to try to get the best results we can team-wise. So yeah, hopefully that is a theme that can continue this round. But we going alright in qualifying so far, getting our lap together reasonably well. Zandvoort has typically been a track I struggle with, but I was actually feeling pretty decent around here this time around, so that made a nice change. I did go for a maximum rear downforce setup. Running even front and rear downforce was a no-go here, especially with that last corner. It was a bit sketchy there. Especially in practice, because practice was a very wet and dry sort of session. It started wet, it dried up for about 2 laps of full dry running before the rain came down again, so there really wasn't a lot of time in practice to nail a setup. I basically just had to plug a setup in that I thought would work, and thankfully it did. But yeah.
Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
We've gone to the end of qualifying as I've been rambling about all that, and Teo Pourchaire is going to start from pole position. We had the lead for most of the session, but Pourchaire was able to jump forward at the end. Victor Martins and the other ART start out of P4, so great qualifying for them, and that's just what they need. The Framers, Ollie Behrman actually the better of them this time around, starting out of P3, the other in P7, and then it's P5 and 6 for the MP Motorsport cars. So yeah, almost the entirety of the top 8 made up of the teams fighting for the championship. Kushmani the only exception. He'll start from reverse grid pole though, so that's great news for our teammate. Clement Novalak and Enzo Fittipaldi also in the top 10. Let's get into the sprint race.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint race then. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of the 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today.
Alrighty then, so here we are on the grid, ready to go racing for the sprint race at Zandvoort. So, what are we doing? Medium tyres all the way to the end, and a bit of rain at the end of the race potentially, but that icon is, I believe, the 90-minute mark, so not something we'll have to be concerned about. 5 red lights are on and we are underway after a very short hold on the grid today, and it's a fairly slow launch for us. Maybe I just wasn't quite ready for those lights to go out, but we get a decent gap to send ourselves into around the outside, but unfortunately we can't quite get the move done on Ollie Behrman just yet. We're going to have to keep this going side by side, and that was a little bit of an awkward line through the right-hander there as we try and send it down the inside into the banking left-hander, and we can't get the move done on Oliver Behrman, the Brits with the better traction around the outside there. But we have to just slot back in behind. Maybe we'll be able to get a run up into the next right-hander. We get in down the inside, but the car actually turning in and a lot more responsively than I expected there. And yeah, we actually ended up on the inside grass, so we had to back out of that one. Ollie Behrman holds on, so we remain P9 where we started in this one, but a clean start nonetheless. And yeah, we can fight on from here. The main objective, well, not really my objective, but the main thing I want to see in this race is Kushmaini take that race victory. So let's see how our teammate got started in this one. A good launch off the line and a bad launch for Enzo Fittipaldi. Looks like Clement Novalak's going to challenge that position around turn 1. Novalak on the outside line. We're on the extreme outside, a little bit further back in the field as the cars in front were going 3 wide. But Miney was able to get away, and Novalak able to clear Fittipaldi as well. So not the start the Brazilian would have wanted. Novalak's been in great form recently, and that seems to continue this weekend.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from rain now. I'll keep you updated as conditions change. Right, a gap to the teammate ahead of us. 4.1 seconds.
But rain is not far away now, so that weather prediction forecast, there's the word I'm looking for, might not be particularly accurate because yeah, we're only a few laps into this race and the rain is already not far away. So we'll see how that situation progresses as we send it up the inside.
Nice move, good job
Of Ollie Behrman there, and we finally get that move done. We're up into the points now, so that's good news for us as we continue to move forwards in this race. Fastest laps begin.
That's the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done.
To tumble, several drivers in a row setting fastest laps there, but we will be the fastest of them all at the moment as we try to chase down Dennis Hauger. So yeah, let's see if we can chase down the MP Motorsports driver.
We don't currently have the data for that request.
And yeah, no weather information at the moment, so usually that means the weather is in the process of changing in that exact moment. So yeah, we got 5 laps before the weather becomes a concern, but still
keep managing your tyres, manage your tyres.
The crossover point won't be for a while yet, so we just have to trudge on as we do make the move on Dennis Hauger into turn 1. We went a little bit deep to get it done, but no worries, we've got that covered off. And yeah, we carry on as Roman Stanek retires from the race with a mechanical failure, and this field scattering around. That was very close with one of the Red Bull livery cars behind. It was a Yumu Iwasa whose misfortunes almost continued there. Goodness me. Roman Stanek just chopped across.
So this rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
Wow. That was so close to a potential race-ending incident there between Stanek and Iwasa. They got away with it, thankfully, but that was so dangerous. But anyway, we continue to put the pressure on Victor Martins as we continue to struggle on through this through the wet conditions, and the track, you know, noticeably getting a touch wetter now, but there's still plenty of grip out there. We make the move down the inside of Victor Martins, and that moves us up 1 position into P6 now. So working our way through the field as Juan Manuel Correa also retires from the race with a mechanical failure. Unfortunate for the American driver in the Van Amersfoort. But anyway, from one Dutch team to another, MP Motorsport in front of us now with Jane Derubala in sight. We'll see if we can make the move down the inside into the same right-hander where we've made a couple of moves so far in this race. And yeah, we get the move done on
Yellow flag.
Jane Derubala. The yellow flag out still for Juan Manuel Correa, who's still parked off the side of the road there. So yeah, real shame for him, but anyway, we race on in now P5 in this race, so just chipping away and you know, grabbing a few extra points a bit by bit in this one. But yeah, we're not exactly storming through the field, but we're making progress, and yeah, we are around about the halfway mark in this race. So as we continue to try and close in, we still are, you know, potentially in with a chance of a podium if we can keep it together, that is. Goodness me, a big slide there, and we get away with it, but that's cost us some time. The onboard with Jane Derubala shows the angle of attack we had there in that moment. But anyway, oh wow, that is another big moment into the chicane. We're very deep, and that's going to allow Jane Deruvula back through, and that was essentially
Keep on him, he might make a mistake.
a correction in a straight line that led to that moment. My goodness, that was out of control. So we were very lucky we didn't end up skating off into the gravel there. But if anything, that just shows how slippery it's getting at this stage of the race.
Car behind's gaining on you by 5/10 a lap.
As Victor Martin is gaining on us. If you look in the bottom left corner, he makes a mistake there and drops a couple of spots. You can just about see it on the mini-map as that happened. But yeah, that was an unfortunate moment for Martins, and he drops out of the points, I believe, with that mistake. So yeah, that's a bit of a blunder there by the Frenchman, but we'll see. There's still time left in this race. We move on though all the way to the penultimate lap of the race, and you can see how slow we're going now. If there was more than 2 laps to go, we would certainly be moving on to the full wet tyres at this stage, but so close to the end of the race, there's no point. So yeah, if I was feeling bold, I might have tried it, but we've made great progress in this race, and I didn't want to lose it. So here we go then, on to the start of the
Final lap, push.
Thank you for finishing my sentence there, Mark. But anyway, final lap of the race, and yeah, we just need to hold on for one more lap. You can see we've lost so much time to the top 5, but we're not worried about that. We're just trying to hold on to what we have. But out in front, Kush Miney has been loving these conditions ever since the DRS was disabled a few laps ago. He has been pulling away from Clement Novalak. And yeah, Kush Miney has put in now 2 consecutive wet weather drives in a row. 2 wins in a row for Kush Miney. Feature race winner in Belgium, and now sprint race winner at Zandvoort. Awesome stuff for Kush, and he will be loving all those points he's been scoring lately. But for us, we'll gingerly navigate the final corner, and I was going to do a big weave to the line, but that actually started costing me a lot of straight line speed. And yeah,
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
ended up just bringing it to the line in a straight line. But yeah, anyway, P6 for us there. A decent day for the team with another win for Kush Miney.
What a great drive, rewarded with victory. Kush Miney takes the checkered flag.
Well, sprint races are basic, aren't they? And that's why we like them. Set them all going and let them have at it. And they really showed the racecraft and pace that you need to win well.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Campos have come a really long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn the top spot.
Kush Miney's making a habit of this, winning in some of the most difficult races of the season. Second place for Clement Novalak, with Enzo Fittipaldi in third.
Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment when Formula 2 returns.
My goodness, that was a pretty tough race at the end. It was, yeah, very, very treacherous conditions in those last few laps. But awesome job by our teammate to cling on to the race. Well, not even cling on, to storm to the race victory in the trickiest conditions. I'd say that the trickiest conditions we've had all season. That was full wet driving at the end there, and we're all just struggling around on slicks. I had no pace, but we were just able to hold off the queue behind. Victor Martins did end up dropping out of the points into P9, so a shame for the Frenchman, who'll be starting off the second row next time in the feature race. We did grab the fastest lap for another bonus point, so yeah, great day for the team here as well. Let us run through the finishing order though of this one. It was of course Kush Miney on taking first place ahead of Teo Porcher and Enzo Fittipaldi. Frederick Vesti does finish ahead of us on track, along with Jane Deruvula, so they'll gain a little bit in the Drivers' Championship. We finish in P6 ahead of Dennis Hauger and Teo Fortier taking the final points, with Victor Martins and Ollie Behrman rounding out the 10. Zane Maloney just missing out on the points today. So that's a shame for the boy from Barbados, who's been on the wrong side of the 10 a few times this season, I think. But anyway, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, we still lead the way, a 61 points margin over Frederick Vesti in second position now. So that's where things are at the moment. Kush Miney is 8th in the standings, just in behind Jack Doohan, just 1 point behind Jack Doohan actually, so that could very much easily change in the next race if Kush Miney can get in the points. Jack Doohan unfortunately down the order this round, but anyway, in terms of the team's championship, we are looking ever stronger in that regard, and we currently have a 34 point margin in the team's championship over Prema. MP Motorsport a little bit further back, 55 points adrift, with ART now more than 100 points behind, so the fight might just be over for them, even mathematically speaking. That's going to be a very tough ask. I think they might still be just barely in it, but yeah, any realistic chance I think is over for ART. But they do have two cars right in hot contention for the win in the feature race, so if there's ever a chance they can pull themselves out of the fire, it will be in the very next race. So we'll see how it goes for them. But yeah, I think it's realistically a 3 or 2.5 horse race even in the team's championship at this point. We'll see how it goes, but without further ado, let's get into the feature race.
Welcome back to Formula 2, where the tension is building for what promises to be another exciting race here in the Netherlands. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of the 2.6 mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. We are nearly ready for the start of today's race, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the grid. Teo Fortier has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, edging out Ralph Boschung, who lines up P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Behrman, Martins, Jan Deruvala, Hauger, Vesti, Novalak, Fittipaldi, Kushmaini, Maloney, Benavides, Richard Verschoor, Jack Doohan, Stanek, Correa, Leclerc, Jack Crawford, Cordial, Hadjar, Nissani, and Ayumu Awasa completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track.
Alrighty, so here we are on the grid, ready to go racing for the feature race at Zandvoort. Soft tyres to the mediums will be the strategy, not much to really play around with there. Everyone's starting on the softs, no reason for us to do anything different. We're in a great position here to potentially take another win this season, so let's hope we can capitalize on that. But other than that, yeah, we will just try and keep bringing in those team championship points. ART are the team that really needs to capitalize in this one as we go to the 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go for the feature race at Zandvoort. It's a good launch for us alongside Teo Fortier. We're down the inside into turn 1. And we'll get the move done on Teo Fortier. So a good start for us, much better than what we had in the sprint race. And yeah, so long as we can just stay consistent, we should be able to do the job here. But we're on the soft tyres, of course. It'll be interesting to see how the pace goes on this compound. Typically I've preferred the harder compounds, so as we do a little bit of lawn mowing there, hopefully we can get used to these tyres. But you can almost see already that I'm not quite in a rhythm on these tyres, and they're already turning into the corners much more than I expect them to. So that's something I have to get used to again. And of course, we're back in the full dry conditions, whereas it was extremely wet at the end of the previous race, and yeah, that made things quite tricky. but yeah, now in dry conditions, all the grip's back, so that took me a while to get used to. Kushmini, though, off the start, was immediately able to get the run on Clement Novalak, who was terribly slow off the line in contrast to the previous race. But Kushmini trying to make the move around the outside of Clement Novalak might be able to get the move done here as they continue to run side by side through the opening sector. But Kushmini, I think, will be able to get this move done, and does so, moves ahead of Clement Novalak. So 1 place gained off the start for our teammates, which is awesome stuff. But as we continue to push on, trying to break the slipstream back to...
So we're leading our teammate by 2.5 seconds.
Teo Porcher, but Porcher makes the move around the outside into turn 1, and I just didn't really have the confidence to fight that. So yeah, that was a bit of a strange one. Here it is on replay, and Porcher just later on the brakes and able to get the move done. And in fact, we were under pressure already in that same corner by Ollie Behrman. So yeah, I'm just struggling at the moment. There's not really any other way to say it, but it's just oh wow, Teo Porcher, big mechanical failure there right in front of us, and Teo Porcher is out of the race, and we are handed the race lead back from the Frenchman. My goodness, that is a disaster for ART, who are pretty much on target to win this race. Teo Porcher had the pace, and it goes down in a blaze of engine smoke for Teo Porcher. My goodness, that is a big shame for the Frenchman and the French team, who can, I think, now wave goodbye to any chance of the team's championship. But as we continue to fight on, getting a bit feisty there with Oliver Behrman. I didn't actually realise it.
Slow down, your delta's negative.
Didn't realise it immediately at the time, but there was contact there with Behrman. As we swept across, we actually took the front wing end plate off the frame of the car.
VSC ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
So yeah, shame for Oliver Behrman, and that'll probably send the Brit into pit lane. But yeah, there was a virtual safety car because of that. But as it comes to an end, we get racing once more, and Oliver Behrman is immediately under pressure. He didn't actually pit for that damage as Victor Martins goes through on Ollie Behrman. So yeah, that is a strange one there, but maybe Behrman didn't want to compromise on the strategy, or didn't think the damage was that bad. But it is evident that he's losing time, and yeah, just from Behrman holding up the queue, we've been able to scramble away from the chasing pack a little bit. But as we continue on and continue to make a couple of little mistakes in this race, Victor Martins will eventually catch and pass us on the back straight. So
come on, you can win that place back.
yeah, 7 laps in, and we're still struggling in this race on these tyres. I just don't feel as good as I did in the previous race. They just don't inspire a lot of confidence at the moment. But anyway, down the outside goes Frederick Vesti on Ollie Behrman. Vesti gets that move done, and Behrman continues to lose places with Deruvela getting through down the inside this time as well. So yeah, every lap of turn 1, Behrman is under attack. But as we continue on, we are under attack from Frederick Vesti as we run side by side. But I think we should be able to hold this one off for the time being. So we look to Kushmini, a big lock up there, and Clement Novalak gets through down the inside. Kushmini maybe made a bit of contact as he got back to the racing line there with Novalak. Here's the onboard with Kush. We'll see what happened here. Just a big old lock up into the banking there, and he did. He turned back quite aggressively to try and get back onto the racing line, but Novalak was well and truly alongside. And yeah, needed no second invitation there for Clement Novalak. But Kushmini down 1 spot after that mistake, which is very unfortunate. But anyway, as we continue on, we are once again
leading our teammate by 9.0 seconds.
Under pressure from Frederick Vesti, who makes the move down the inside, and we can't carry the momentum around the outside. We almost run ourselves out of road there, and yeah, the lack of pace continues as Kushmini does make the move eventually on Ollie Behrman, moves himself up another spot. So yeah, that is sort of the sort of race we're having at the moment. We just don't have the pace. Kushmini. Oh my goodness. Frederick Vesti now with a mechanical failure. You could not write this. twice in a row the car in front of us has blown up on track. And wow, another mechanical drama for another championship contending team and driver. That is the second place driver in the championship now out. Goodness me. Meanwhile, Jane Deruvala makes the move down the inside of myself and yeah, gets through. And unfortunately, that's another place going down the drain for us as we come into the pits finally to bring this soft tyre stint to an end. And yeah, I have no explanation. I think it might just be the soft tyres. I'm just not clicking with these tyres, so I don't know. Maybe we can find some more pace on the medium stint, but I just, yeah, didn't feel good in the car in that first stint. And yeah, we struggled, made a lot of mistakes.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
So hopefully we can find our form again in this stint, because we've let a lot of positions slide down the drain at this stage of the race. So we'll see how it goes. But as we continue to press on, a bit of a awkward line through the banking on that occasion. But we do catch up to Jane Deruvala once more, so we have found some pace once again in this race, which is awesome. So hopefully we can continue to push forwards and make something of a recovery. I don't think the race win is even remotely on the cards. We've lost too much time for that. But hopefully we can gain a place or two back. But as we continue to press on, we lose touch with Deruvala, unfortunately. But we do set a fastest lap.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
So there is pace. We just need to sort of work on the consistency, I think, and try and string together a few good laps in a row. But there is some inherent pace in the car, and that I'm able to find.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
Deruvala steals the fastest lap back, though, so yeah, that's radio? No? Okay. But yeah, that's...
Okay, be aware the car behind is catching you by 5/10 a lap, 5/10. Okay, you've got P3, well done. Deruvala ahead, they're on fresh mediums. And that's Fittipaldi behind, they're on fresh mediums. Okay, gap to leader, 8.6 seconds. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Okay, 18 laps to go.
Okay, thank you, Mark, that's very helpful. But anyway, yeah, we're in a bit of an interesting position pace-wise. It seems like we can get a good lap together every once in a while. We've got a purple first sector, and in fact a purple middle sector as well, so we have a good chance at another fastest lap as Deruvala takes it away. But
good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Only for precisely 3.05 seconds, as we do take that fastest lap back, purple in the first two sectors, to get the job done there. We come around again, and we set an even faster lap.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done.
This time only
okay,
purple.
So we're leading our teammate by 15.1 seconds.
This time only purple in the final sector. So, yeah, you can see the inconsistency even just with those two consecutive fastest lap improvements. So yeah, it's tricky. But anyways, we continue.
And that's 8 laps of fuel remaining
to push on. That might actually be a concern. There's 9 laps to go in the race, or 8.5, and we have 8 laps of fuel left.
Okay, you've got P3, well done. Okay, Deruvala's ahead of you now. They're on old mediums. And that's Fittipaldi behind. They're on old mediums. Okay, so gap to the leader, 6.3 seconds. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 9 laps to go.
And yeah, confirmation that there are currently 9 laps to go. Now as we come across the line there will be 8, so yeah, we are going to have to save fuel. You can see it in the bottom right, we're basically half a lap down, so
gap to your teammate behind, 16.0 seconds.
Yeah, there's no getting around it. I don't know why this, of all circuits...
Okay, you're losing a small amount of time to the car behind, let's keep pushing.
I don't know why this would be the track we need to save fuel, but yeah, that's... obviously not ideal, and we're going to have to do a lot of lift and coast to be able to get to the end, and we're going to have to let a few positions slide, unfortunately, as Enzo Fittipaldi gets through, and there's just, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. We just don't We were already, borderline lacking pace in this race, albeit we do still have the fastest lap. Yeah.
Good work, we're in P4, and that's Fittipaldi ahead. They're on old mediums. Hauger's behind you. They're on old mediums. The distance to the leader, 12.3 seconds. Your pit window is open, pit window currently open. Okay, just 5 laps until the end.
We don't have much time left in the race, and we still have quite a lot of fuel to save, so I'm finding it really difficult to actually save enough fuel, and I've already reduced the pace massively as Dennis Hauger gets down the inside. We're going to be able to hold it around the outside, and not a chance. And we now have to try and hold off Clement Novalak, and we still keep the fight going side by side with the Trident driver, and with Kushmaini next on the road behind Novalak. I'm thinking back to what we did in Hungary as lock up there from Jack Crawford as the 2 Red Bull liveried cars go wheel to wheel on the exit. Wassa gets through on Jack Crawford there, so that's well away from the points, but a big mistake there, and a little bit of contact between those two as we go on board with the high-tech Pulsate driver of Jack Crawford. Big old lock-up, and a bit similar to Kushmaini earlier in the race, just turned back onto the racing line very quickly, and there was very much a car on the inside. Here's the on board with Ayumu Iwasa, who was able to slip through there, so easy move there for the Japanese driver, and he gets past Jack Crawford. But anyway, back to the fight between myself, Novalak, and now Kushmaini. I've been pushing a little bit more to hold off Clement Novalak, and just helping Maini catch up. Now we hold Novalak high and wide. Maini threw down the inside, and we let our teammate go. So that's worked perfectly for us, and we finally managed to get that right, and managed to get our teammate through without losing the place ourselves. So that's worked for us, and now hopefully we can hold on to this position for the rest of the race. But I burnt up more fuel than I really should have been doing to make that happen. So while Kushmaini is up and gaining a couple more points, we might have compromised ourselves for the end of the race, but we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping this works for us, but as we continue on, Clement Novalak down the inside, and there's nothing we can do. I'm trying to roll it in around the outside, trying to carry the speed, but the tyres just don't have the grip to go around the outside, and Clement Novalak's through, so I think that was inevitable. I don't think we're going to ever be able to hold off Novalak. The Prema behind us, of course, is Oliver Behrman, so he's no threat. We're actually, the car we need to look to further back is, I believe, Zane Maloney. So, that's the situation at the moment. They're nowhere near us right now, but the margins close rapidly. I'm doing everything I can to save fuel, lifting and coasting. I'm short shifting. And there's Maloney in the background of shot. You could just see a glimpse of the Red Bull livery car in the background there as Behrman's down the inside. This isn't the distraction we need. Behrman's a lapped car, so he's not going to try and make the move on us. But as we are lifting and coasting and driving so slowly, he had nowhere else to go there. But it's going to get blue flagged for Maloney any second now, as we've just got 4 corners to go. But that is 4 too many at the moment. But around the final corner comes Victor Martins, and this is a big victory for the Frenchman. Victor is the victor here at Zandvoort, and Victor Martins will be very happy with that performance. But now with just 2 corners to go, Maloney is right on the back of us as we just have 1 final corner remaining. Are we going to be able to hold him off? We are running on the smell of an oily rag at this point. Maloney closing in the slipstream to the line now. Maloney pulls out wheel to the line, and it's a photo finish. But I think Maloney just got there and snatches away P7 at the line. And we'll have to settle for P8, unfortunately. But wow, that was an effort to even get this car to the line. We listen to how low the revs are. We're just trying to get the most out of the last few milliliters of fuel we had left. And the car sputters to the line.
Race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That was a ridiculously tight margin with Maloney, but he just got there ahead of us. What a shame.
The French driver will see the checkered flag first. Victor Martins takes the win.
Alex, it's so hard when you've had a mental knock to recover and take victory like that, especially at this level. Brilliant stuff.
ART, the French team who have been racing since the 90s in various forms of motorsport, are once again back on the winner's podium today after a brilliant display of driving skill.
Well, it is a victory for Victor, a massive result, a much needed result for the Frenchman. Second place for Jane Deruvala, and P3 a double podium this weekend for Enzo Fittipaldi.
There will be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you'll join us at the next race when Formula 2 returns.
Wow, 1/100th of a second is all that separated myself from Zane Maloney at the end of that race. What a finish. Unfortunately, we're just on the wrong side of that 100th, but let us run through the finishing order, of course, as we always do. Victor Martins with the race victory, so bringing home some, decent result for ART after Teo Porcher's retirement. Victor was able to make the most of the situation for the rest of the race, with the others who started in front all falling away through various circumstances. But Jane Deruvala P2, Enzo Fittipaldi a great weekend, Dennis Hauger P4, Kushmaini P5, so great result as well for Kushmaini. We helped him through one of those positions, but the rest were all gained legitimately or through, I suppose, other factors with Vesti, Porcher and Behrman all falling to the wayside. But anyway, that has definitely helped our teammate out in this one. Zane Maloney, a decent bunch of points for him. Myself in P8, P9 for Richard Bashaw, and Brad Benavides taking the final point. Sneaky one there by the American driver. But anyway, in terms of the Drivers' Championship then, we have, well, it's an interesting one now, with everything that's happened with Vesti not making it to the end. Despite having a fairly lackluster end result, we do increase our margin, albeit by just 5 points over Vesti. Deruvala gets himself a little bit closer, 80 points adrift. That might actually be a little bit too far with just 2 rounds to go in the championship, and 25, 35, 36, 39 points available for each round. So Deruvala is out of the fight. It's just down to myself and Frederic Vesti now, and Vesti's going to need something pretty special, I think, in the next round if he wants to stay in contention. It's realistically, he needs a feature race win in the next round to stay as a genuine contender or even a mathematical contender. But anyway, in the team's championship, we still sit at the top, 40 points ahead of MP Motorsport, who are up into second position now. Kramer with a terrible race today, 49 points adrift. ART 92 points adrift. That's a little bit harder to work out than the Drivers' Championship, but Martins taking the win might have just kept them in contention. Okay, so I've just done the maths. ART are still in championship contention, but they will need to outscore us by almost 30 points in the next round if they want to stay that way. But for now, that is all for this one, so I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. And other than that, I will see you in the next one, and goodbye.